Okay, so I shall try this again. This will be my second video, and one of the things I realize is that there is not a time to do a video, because I've been saying I'm going to do a video since I did the first video. But anyway, video number 2, and I guess I just kind of want to give a little information about myself personally, and what I've been going through. Okay, back in 2020, before COVID hit, I tore my labrum 10 years ago. It's actually been 11 years. And I had 2 surgeries, which did nothing. So I ended up taking pain meds and so on and so forth. And I was living in Texas at the time. And in Texas, in order to get your pain meds, you also have to take some type of a shot, whether it be a injection, well, some type of, let me say not shot, let me say some type of injection. And so I had gone, I mean, every year I would go to Denver because we would have Christmas in Denver with my daughter and her family, and and the rest of my family's in Denver. So, and right before they labeled it COVID, all of my family was sick. And I wasn't here when they were sick, but they were all experiencing symptoms of COVID. But at that time, COVID had not been labeled COVID. So we came down, we celebrated Christmas, and then I went back to Texas. And when I went back to Texas, it was time for me to go and pick up my medicine and get my injection. Well, this particular injection that I got, it was called a trigger point injection. And right after I got the shot, immediately I could not breathe. I mean, I could not breathe. I couldn't walk or anything. So I automatically called them, and I went back in several times. They kept saying, no, 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 it couldn't have possibly been the shot, and, whatever. So I went to the emergency room a couple times. I went to my doctor, and then I went to another doctor, and I'm like, look, something's got to happen, because I was not feeling like this until I got this shot. So this was in January, I believe. Yes, it was in January of 2020. So I just kept going back and forth to the doctor, back and forth, trying to figure this out. So by the time they figured it out, it was July or August. And then that's when they told me that I was in congestive heart failure. And granted, I was a little overweight, but other than that, I was in perfect health. So that was like a huge shock to my system. I'm like, what? Congestive heart failure? And so I start in, and then my heart was only functioning 5 to 15% at that time. So of course that's even more of a shock to me, because I'm like, what the hell? I mean, it is what it is. So the doctor that told me that, he was more or less like, he told it to me, and then he was like, okay, well, we'll figure this out, but go home. And I didn't, he wasn't a very good doctor. So after that, I was like, of course, I'm like, oh my God, am I dying, and so on and so forth. So then my older daughter, she was 36 at the time. Like I said, I have a 19 and a 20-year-old. But of course, for me, I always wanted to make sure that my girls were going to be okay. So I put my final days, as I thought, in the hands of my daughter. I was telling her what I want, what I don't want, what I expect her, to do with her sisters, since she's, so much older than they are. And then sadly, well, as we were making plans, sadly, and that's, I think it was that September. I'll get the dates right, but at this point, we went through the whole of 2020, and I found out I probably had COVID, which made me getting that shot. It just triggered something. It triggered something. So anyway, going through the motions, I was due to have surgery to get a defibrillator. And so that day, I was talking to my daughter because, I went in and everything, and I was filled. Well, they were, you go in first and they prep you and all this stuff first. And so I had that conversation with my daughter, and I was, I wasn't nervous or anything, but, I was just telling my daughter about it. And, once, like I said, getting myself prepared. And later on that night, so basically we were planning for me and if I died, and what she would do. And this was September 1st, 2021. And so later on that night, the the things that they did as far as the prep for the defibrillator, I was a little nauseous from the meds and all that. So I was up, it was probably about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I get a phone call from my sister there in Denver. And she said, I won't say names, but my daughter's husband said he couldn't find her. And so we started calling hospitals and all kind of things because she went to the store to get the baby a bottle, some new bottles. She had an 8-month-old, a 2-year-old, and an 8-year-old at the time. And she had gone to get the baby some new bottles. And I don't know that was it. I think I was talking to her on the phone actually around 8 or 9 o'clock at night because we were on our way back home. And she was making sure I was okay and so on and so forth. And then she went to Target. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the first video or not, but my daughter is allergic to lots of things. One of those things being peanuts. So she picked up, according to Target, she bought a candy bar. It was a wafer, and it said that it had traces of nuts in it. Well, my daughter, she took a bite of it, and it automatically started, she went into, I can't think of it, but some type of shock, and it automatically shut her body down. And I try not to think about it too much because I'm even though it's going on 3 years, I'm still just not ready to deal with all of it. So it shut her body down. She tried to make it home. She didn't. She passed out. They found her. And they took her to the hospital. And at that time, I told my husband, I said, I can't handle this right now. Just, tell me things as I ask versus, just giving it to me all at once. So, I was just really, really in a state of shock and in a daze. But I can't even tell you, someone booked us a flight back to Denver. And I finally asked my husband, I said, well, am I going to Denver to bury my daughter, or am I going to Denver to help my daughter recover? And my husband told me, he said, you're going to bury her. She died. And that was one of the worst times in my life, because you don't ever expect to bury your child. I mean, we're planning my death, and I end up burying my child. And I'm still, honestly, I'm still in a state of shock that my daughter is gone. I mean, it's going on 2 years, and I still can't believe that she's gone. And I really miss her, and I miss her a lot. And just trying to deal with the reality that she's not coming back. She's not coming back. And I tell you that was like, that daughter was like my friend. You know, that's the daughter. I couldn't wait. You know, I had this daughter at 19. And I couldn't wait until she grew up. You know, when she grew up, we just talk about anything and everything. And we had a very, very, very close relationship. And now she's gone. And I'm, you know, left to deal with her being gone. And like I said, my reasoning for starting this channel is, there's not, I mean, some people, if you have someone to talk to, you, good for you. But I don't necessarily have anyone to talk to, especially, you know, it's 2.5 years later. And, you know, for whatever reason, people think you should be over it. Well, I don't know how to get over it, and I don't plan on pushing myself to get over it. So all I can do is, like I said, I really want this channel to be for other parents who have lost a child, or just anyone that has lost someone, because I feel like, you know, I'm going to tell my story, but I also feel like people need someone to talk to. And I feel like at this point I'm talking to, I don't know, to an audience, which is, you know, fine with me, but I feel like I got to get it out, because it's just too much to hold inside. So anyway, that's my video for today. I will get better about this. You see the camera's moving a little bit. I'm trying to get the right angle and so on and so forth. But my main interest and goal is just to get out how I feel, and hopefully someone else will, you know, just think about stuff and maybe want to talk about it. I'm open to that. So I will, once again, I will sign off. I won't make these so long unless I get a response and somebody wants to talk about it. Then I'm here for people. I'm sure once this channel grows a little bit, you know, we can figure out how to just be here for, you know, when someone needs to talk about this. Because I think for me, my process probably would have been easier had I actually had someone to talk to that understood what I was going through. So anyway, I'll make another video tomorrow, because like I said, there's not a time, there's not a place. So whenever I feel it, I'm just going to pick up the camera and just start talking. And you know, versus trying to wait for the perfect day, the perfect lighting. It's not going to happen for me, just so you know that. So anyway, until the next time, take care.